I started playing guitar when I was 8 years old, so it's a long time. I'm not going to tell you exactly how long I've been playing guitar, but it's been a long time. Yeah, I started out playing with Lou Reed. Lou Reed was like the first major tour I did, major world tour I did. Out of that came the Lou Reed Rock and Roll Animal album, which has become a classic, which is wonderful for all of us, because one of the stipulations when we did that record was that we weren't going to do any overdubs. With Alice Cooper, for instance, on Welcome to My Nightmare, there's a section in there where I'm actually playing some classical guitar stuff. And going right from that to power guitar, you know, fifths and stuff and loud Marshalls, that's really kind of cool for me, you know. I like doing that kind of thing. I like this wide range of playing. I don't like to be pegged as one particular kind of guitar player. You have to be able to adapt to what the artist is trying to project. Now with Lou, everybody knew Lou was a real hard rock and roller. So obviously we weren't going to go in there with like acoustic guitars and do an acoustic set. I mean, I suppose we could have, but it wouldn't have had the impact. I mean, Heroin has much more impact when it's done with really powerful electric guitars. Whereas, you know, like if you would go to Peter Gabriel's side, Peter Gabriel likes to use lots of different textures. And in fact, when I did the Gabriel tour, I played slide guitar on one thing, I played acoustic guitar on another, and played various types of electric guitars on various types of songs, other than just powerful type guitar stuff. So you just have to adapt. That's what makes music interesting for me. Keeps it from getting boring.
It's been here a long time. I mean, Hendrix got guitars here, and he bought his Vox amps here. My uncle and my dad sold at the Beatles, so I mean, it's been around a long time, this establishment. We sort of specialise in the nice guitars, the old American guitars, lots of old Fenders, old Gibsons, lots of Les Pauls, lots of old Tellys, all the nice stuff. Mark Knopfler, anything he plays, people scream out for. I mean, over the past 5 or 6 years, Strats have been really big, and I'm sure he had a lot to do with that. Still, I'm sure Eric Clapton had a lot to do with that as well. But when he started playing that Dobro, that National Steel, people were coming in saying, I've got to have a National Steel, got to have a National Steel. And when he did Money for Nothing and played a Les Paul, suddenly Les Pauls were flying out the door after being dead for 2 years, you know.
The guitar literally cost $200 when it was new in the 50s. To make it $10,000, I call that a fetish guitar. They have to have it. The person who buys this thinks they're Jimmy Page, thinks they're Jeff Beck. They don't think that they have to play the guitar. They think if they stick one of these in their hands, they're going to sound like them, and therefore they'll pay the price. Kind of absurd, if you ask me. Well, I got into this business in around 1968. I lived in Flushing at the time, and I'd go to Jamaica to the pawn shops, and I'd see guitars there, like old Les Paul Gold Tops. They were $85. I'd bring them to Danny Armstrong in the Village. He'd give me $250, so I figured, hell, that's a fast way to make $150, $75. It beats selling dope, so that's the way I made my money to keep myself going back then. Most of the people that come in this shop are well-to-do rock stars who usually do have a lot of money. I've had everybody from Stevie Ray and Steve Vai and Jackson Browne and Yngwie Malmsteen, George Harrison, Bob Dylan. The list goes on and on.
Yeah, this is a Strat, Fender Strat, most famous guitar in history. Designed in '54 and still going strong.
Everybody likes the Stratocaster. I love it. I think it's a great sound.
And then moved on to a Strat, of course. I think everybody has a Strat at one time in their guitar playing career.
I remember the first thing that they said to me was, can't you get a Fender Strat?
That's your classic Strat tone, that.
A lot of the old blues players in the 50s played Stratocasters, and that's what actually made Stratocasters get very popular. You had Buddy Guy, you had David T. Walker, a lot of these people played them. Claptons, the Mick Taylors, all the English blues guys copied them.
And that pickup, when that's wound up, that's out of this world. That's got that real killer rock sound. Not as fat as a humbucker, but you've always got that real sound just cutting right through. If you listen to Ritchie Blackmore or listen to Hendrix with it wound up through his Marshalls and it just goes, blows your eardrums out.
I've always found things about Strats I didn't like they're a little hard for me to play. It's mechanically, just the way but there's only one guitar that sounds like that. And Jimi Hendrix sort of made that guitar sound like no one else ever made that guitar sound.